You know what else is out here?
What?
A team that shouldn't be thinking about trading Cooper Kupp.
Oh, no.
Let me tell you something, man.
Or punting on the season if they're going to play like this.
That offense for the Rams looks completely different with Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp out there. Like, they could make some noise in that division, I swear. Like, I do not think it's over. I don't think it's over yet. And that was a interesting game. Do we want to address the missed face mask
It was
now,
a miss.
or
It was a miss. It was a miss. I mean, and that possibly could have been a part of the game going a different direction. Possibly. I don't know. You never know. It was a miss, though. It was a missed call. 2 points.
In watching the Vikings offense and Sam Darnold, was there a part of you that's like, oh, I could see this. I could see why they want to trade for Stafford. I mean, Stafford played well last night. I don't think Darnold played bad.
I don't think he played bad at all, actually. I thought it was a pretty balanced game. I thought there was a lot of offense without a ton of finishing drives, is what I thought it was. I mean, I thought the defenses played well. I thought it was like a balanced game. I actually enjoyed watching that game because I thought it was two good teams playing against one another. That's what I thought. Now, listen, but Sam or Matthew Stafford, he was dealing, man. He was dealing, bro. He was
it's crazy to think that 3-4 and 2-5 are like life changing this season for this team. If they would have lost last night, I think you're saying like that's a wrap.
Yeah, 2-5. Yeah, that's hard to climb out of that hole. That's a hard one. Yeah, and they look like not only do they get that much needed win, but they look good. Like the question I asked as soon as the game was over is, can they stay healthy?
That's 3-4. Yeah, 3 and 4. 2-5.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
That's going to be the biggest question. Can Matthew Stafford stay healthy? Can Nacua stay healthy? Can Kupp stay healthy? Can they stay healthy?
O-line's going to get healthier. They're getting a couple of guys back by, I saw, week 10. So that's why, we were talking about, Cooper Kupp could be traded and all that. And Sean McVay said, none of that is true. I think, probably changed, especially after last night. But I just looked at it and I go, they're not that far off. And if you just go back to this season, look, they probably should have beaten Detroit. They had the lead late, and it was a missed completion on third down. Otherwise, that game would have been iced, and we're having a whole nother conversation about the team. And so I just look at it, I go, San Francisco's got problems. They're not healthy. It just seems like they're a little bit snake bit this year. I don't buy into Seattle. And who the hell knows with Arizona? Like, the Rams seem like a legitimate threat in the division, and the idea that you're going to move on from Cooper Kupp and bring back a second-round pick, why not go for it? If you're all about going for it, make it happen.
Not the way they look last night. You can't disrupt that. What you saw last night. Like, maybe if it goes the way like Q just said, and they lose another game and they're 2-5, maybe you start entertaining things because maybe it is time to start wondering if you're punting on the season or not. But the way they played last night, I just can't see why you would do anything to disrupt that. Because you making the statement argument for the NFC West being wide open, you can make the discussion point for the whole NFC being wide open because that's one of the top teams. If we were saying what's the top 10, in fact, I think we did say Minnesota was the top team in the NFC last week. I think that was just last week we had that conversation.
Detroit.
Detroit.
We
didn't say Detroit, though. We said Minnesota.
We said Detroit and Minnesota were the top.
We said Detroit.
Because Detroit had just beat Minnesota.
Yeah.
But, okay, so maybe it was the week before.
Yeah.
Because the week before, Minnesota was undefeated, correct?
And in all fairness to Jonas, he did throw in Chicago, and then Lee said Green Bay, so there was all those teams. Yeah.
I think you could throw Green Bay into the conversation of being a good team, not the best team.
Everybody
you certainly can't throw Chicago in there. You definitely can't
Chicago.
Definitely ain't throwing Chicago in there.
I mean, Jonas wants to put it in there. But.
Yeah, you do.
Sorry, see, that's a professional. I let it breathe so we could F8 it and have that for later. All right, that is a professional.
Okay, Lee, did you even F8 that?
Yeah.
You didn't take that down.
Okay. I hope
Lee's not even in the chair yet. Coop's probably still here.
Coop is always still there.
I asked Coop to F8 it for me.
Hey, Coop, fold.
Thank you.
Just fold, Coop.
Coop be comfortable as hell.
Whatever's showing, just fold. All right, but let's wait for the next hand.
No,
We've now morphed into two producers.
Coop, I was telling someone about you the other day. I forget how the topic came up, but I was like, it's actually one of the producers. Used to be an actor. He was on Liar Liar, and then they were asking like, wait, what? It's like, yeah, and they're like, how's he doing? I was like, he's doing great. I was like, he does a great job on the sticks or behind the scenes and all that.
He looks exactly the same way he did.
I think he does pretty good gambling too.
Yeah, he's in a World Series of Poker tournament every year.
I mean, Coop doesn't reach out enough, so that's all I get. I get like tea leaves here and there about his whatever poker he was playing.
I'd be wanting to give Coop hugs because I just remember the kid from Liar Liar. Man.
He's lying.
Coop's Hey, Coop's one of the smart ones that got out of Hollywood and was like, "You guys are way too weird for me. I'm gonna go do radio." Like this.
I do appreciate Coop's sense of humor. Like that's why I wish you actually came on our show while he's still like hero during our show.
Yeah.
Coop sitting back there like he's at an award show.
Hey,
like we're doing a tribute to Coop at an award. He's about to get his award, go on stage.
Well, there's a lot of positive things being said about me, and I mean, they're not necessarally all true. Like,
no, we know that. We're being sarcastic.
If I was better at gambling, I probably wouldn't be here.
Yeah, that's fair.
Damn.
Yeah, that is fair.
Damn, Coop.
Yeah, if you were Chris Moneymaker, you wouldn't be sitting in that chair right now.
Damn.
But listen, you're better than me. I know
same
that.
thing with Jonas. I'm about to say same thing as Jonas. Hey. Jonas probably wouldn't be sitting here either.
No, I'd be here.
Would you be here?
Yeah, that's my
if
passion.
You were winning?
That's what I do.
You probably do it from home.
Yeah.
You know.
No, not true.
Podcast it.
No. Why?
Do your Knox locks from home.
Well, I mean, listen, do it at home, and so I can get
the
door kicked down because somebody's looking for a monster truck. No, I'll pass. It's not going to happen. But Sean McVay, by the way, did address the speculation about Cooper Kupp being on the trade block. Here was his response afterwards.
There's a lot of information. Here's what I'll tell you. Teams reached out. Some of the things that I've seen out there, they're just not true. We've addressed that with those individuals. Teams have called about him, and really we let him know what the dialogue was there. And then there's a lot of stuff out there where there's not a lot of accountability to the reports, and that's unfortunate.
Do you think the performance tonight makes you guys more apt to possibly entertain offers?
Yeah, I don't think about those things. I think about coaching our team. I think a lot of the things that were out there, speculation was exactly what that was, speculation. We're an inside-out organization. I'm really glad to have Cooper Kupp back with us, and that's what I expect to stay that way.
Yeah. Sean, you guys lost last night. It's probably his last game as a Ram. Let's be honest here. All right, trade deadline's right around the corner. Like, to Brady's point, whole different conversation record-wise where this team is at. Based on that performance last night.
Can I ask the question?
Ask it, VAR.
Am I seeing things when I see these motions and they're heading towards the line of scrimmage? Like, I almost feel like they're starting to be like Canada Canadian football,
CFL, baby.
Are you guys seeing that? Like, I love it. Or are my eyes off?
Hey, let's widen those fields too.
Isn't that supposed to be? You can't be moving towards the ball when the ball is being snapped, right?
Yeah, I mean, like hedging or
right.
I believe
you know what I mean?
Call.
Like if you start heading, like even in a motion going out, you got to keep straight or be going backwards. You can't be going towards the line of scrimmage.
You're not supposed to be, but I think a lot of them, it's almost like the tackles when you see them kick and it feels simultaneous to when the ball is actually being snapped. I mean, Lane Johnson is one of the best to do it. There's a few others too that I see do it. They get a huge jump on it. It's almost like that where I'm like, I don't know, man. That feels like in that case, those probably should be a false start, or they were probably, hedging enough where you could make that call. But that's part of the advantage, I think. When they're going away from the ball, I don't know that officials view it as big of an advantage. But like when you're going in towards the ball, it feels like it's a little different. Like they tend to call that more often. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I think the reason is because they become an immediate threat to get the football. But it just feels like anytime they're more going inwards to the formation, and maybe it's because the formation's there itself, so it's easier to see because those lines. But when they're going out, I feel like they don't see it quite as well. But I'm with you. I don't mind it. Like I think it looks cool. Like I personally love all the shifts too when teams try to make them look like motion. but they're actual shifts and a lot of the rationale behind it.
Not to try and shoehorn them into the opening segment here, but you watch those two teams last night, and then you watch the Jets on offense. There is a noticeable difference between.
Dude, I've been saying this forever to you guys. Like, that was an issue in Green Bay.
It looks
what
old.
LaFleur wanted to do in the offense and what Aaron Rodgers wants to do in the offense. And there's a huge difference. Like, remember when Peyton played? Remember those last years in Denver? They didn't like a lot of movement out around you. So here's how I'll put it simply. If you have a young, inexperienced quarterback, you can make things really simple on him. Now, the hard thing is calling the plays, because when you add those shifts and motions into the play call, it makes it a lot longer, and you have to make sure everyone's lined up correctly. But once they're lined up correctly, even pre and post shift, like, you could catch defenses off guard. And then really a lot of what you're doing with the reads for like any pass play, you can make it what they call more just a pure progression. Meaning you're just going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 5 eligible guys. You work through that progression. If one's not open, 2, 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, etc. That's how they get an advantage on defenses, and they make it look simple. But when you get guys who are more used to audibling and changing protections and changing things, they don't want all that movement because they don't want the defense moving. They want the defense to try to be right where they're at and use their cadence. And then once the defense, they feel like they got to jump on what they're trying to run, then they want to get into that play. Like, Peyton was like that. Aaron's like that now. And that's the hard thing, is like, you don't give yourself the opportunity to allow your coaching staff to help you put your offense in a better position for a better play.